Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today's video is going to be on treating, which is a little controversial. Learning new words today. But anyways, we're going to be talking about treating and show you how we do our treating in our yards. Now, not everybody treats their bees, which is totally fine, but for us personally, we tried not treating and it didn't go so well for us, so we treat our bees, and we have been for the last however many years, and we ended up switching over to Apiguard. Now, I already have a video on Apiguard, I believe, and a video on Apigar strips, but I'm going to do another video, just kind of like in a little updated version, and I know we have some new subscribers, and so I just wanted to do an updated version. So this is Apiguard right here, and there's Apiguard and Apigar. Now, we used to use Apigar strips, and I actually have a video on it from a while ago. I think we were using them on nukes maybe. And they used to work really good for us, and they did really well. They're super easy because you just pull the strips off and place them into the hive, and then whenever they're done, then you can just pull them out. And they're really easy, and we like them a lot. But over the last few years, they seem to not be working super good anymore, and they're super expensive. And so we decided to switch over to Apiguard, and I do think it works pretty good also. Now, a lot of people ask me about VSH and if we're doing any of that. Now, we do have some of Corey's line in our yard, but we keep them like separated, and so we're still kind of testing all of that out, but we do still treat pretty much all of our hives. We haven't treated Corey's yet, and they're still there, so I guess that's pretty good. So no, we don't do a ton of VSH, but we are trying it out and just seeing how it works. And so anyways, let's go ahead and get started with treating. It's a little crazy, I'm just now realizing there's bees everywhere. We just pulled the last of our honey, so there's no honey on the hives right now. We don't treat Apiguard when we have honey on, and we also don't treat when it's really hot in the year. About now is a pretty good perfect timing. I don't know. It's been a long day, and it's been a long time since we filmed videos too. So anyways, it's pretty hot out still. I don't know what today is, but it's a little warm. We usually don't do it whenever it's above 90s, and it's about to cool down quite a bit, and so I think it's a good time to finally treat. And we're getting down into like the 60s and 50s at night, which is crazy because I feel like we were just super hot. But let's go ahead and get started. Now, I usually do wear gloves. I don't wear eye protection. I know some people recommend it. I don't usually. I just wear the gloves, and I recommend wearing gloves because I've done it a couple times without gloves. And even if you're only doing 1 or 2 hives, I would recommend doing it, because the one time I didn't use it, I was doing like a couple hives. And throughout the day, you'll notice your hands start to burn, and usually it's like up under your fingernail, and there's like little gems or crystals underneath there, and it'll start to burn, so that's super fun. So I recommend wearing gloves. I like these ones because they're a little bit thicker, so they don't cut as easily. But I wanted to talk about lids also, because usually you're going to want to use like a feeder shim or just something that gives it a little bit of space between the box and the lid. That way the Apiguard doesn't just get smushed right away. So this is one of the lids that I would recommend using a feeder shim with. There's a lot of bees in here. This is just a flat lid, so there's no spacing or anything. So if you put the Apiguard on and then the lid on, it's just going to smush that Apiguard. And I think I've done a couple hives that way because I didn't have a feeder shim, and it seems to work okay, but I would still recommend using one. But with these lids, I'm going to do treating on these ones because these are our bucket lids, and I like to say they kind of have like a built-in feeder shim, because you can see right here there's a little space between the top of the lid and then the box, and so that's going to be the perfect amount of space for the Apiguard. So I think that's all pretty much about the lids. Now, when it comes to treating certain hives, you're going to want to do a certain amount of Apiguard. So on this one, you can see it goes all the way up to 60. I don't use 60 really very often. The only one that I'm going to use, is the highest typically is going to be about 50 or 55. I'm going to use 50 milligrams on the double deeps, and then I'm going to use 25 or 30 on just the singles. So I'm going to do a double and a single today just to show you how that looks. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and open up this Apiguard. So I already opened it up and I stirred it because it says stir well before each use. So I already did that. This is a brand new bucket here. It's got a pretty strong smell, but I don't hate it. But it still is a little strong there. So here's what it looks like. It's just these tiny little crystals. It's like a jelly base. And so we're just going to use that. And then you want to make sure you take the cap off of the syringe. I've done that so many times where I just stick it in and I don't know why it's filling up. You got to take the cap off. And then I like to keep the little cards that they give you in my back pocket. That way I can just pull them out. It's kind of hard to do that when you got gloves on, but you just pull them out and then you can walk around. You don't have to carry around all these cards. So that's what I like to do. But it comes with these cards. It comes with the card, the syringe, and then the actual treatment. So these are just kind of like little paper things. And the bees will actually get rid of these. If they're like a pretty strong hive, they will tear it up, and you'll usually know because there'll be some out in the front of the hive and you can see them carrying it out. So that's another reason why I like Apiguard, because it leaves pretty much nothing. The only time that's ever left stuff is when I've done Apiguard on a flat lid. It's kind of gotten stuck on the lid there and then they don't get all of it, but they usually can get rid of everything, which is nice because it doesn't leave any trash or anything behind. So let's go ahead and treat, oh, I hope my smoker didn't go out. Let's go ahead and treat this one here. Now after a while, it gets to the point where you can get a system down and it's pretty easy. I think most of last year I did it by myself and it seemed to go pretty quick, so it's not bad, but I still do think that Apigar is quicker just to get it done. Now there's not a ton of bees in here. So if there's not a ton of bees, sometimes just looking at the hive, you can determine how much you want to put in there. I think I'm still going to go ahead and do 50. So let's do that. So I just put the card right on top of the hive and then put your syringe in. And then let's do 50. It does get a little messy the longer you do it, but some people will just, oh, well that wasn't very smart, was it? Some people will just put it right on in the middle. I like to kind of separate it a little bit, that way it's not just one big glob. This bee's got some Apiguard on her now, and that's really it. And then you just put the lid back on, and like I said, this one's got like a little shim, so I don't have to worry about it. So you can see right here, it's not even touching. And that's it. Let's do one more here. This one looks like it's got more bees in it. I already mentioned, but we did pull all of our supers, so we don't have anything on. And then, oh, there's a lot of bees in here. I don't remember if I said this or not, but we also do oxalic acid a little bit later in the year, which I'm really excited to film a video on this year because we have the new ProVap, or is that right? The InstaVap, there we go. I was thinking of the ProVap 110 or whatever. So I'm excited to film a video on that and to use it because we didn't get to use it last year because we got it so late in the year. I think we got it at Hive Life actually. So I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned for that video. There's quite a lot of bees in here. They were all up in this feeder. And that's it. Let's go ahead and close this one up, and then I'm gonna do just a single really quick. So that's 2 hives already done. I'm about to put my mom to work, so it's gonna go even faster, hopefully. All right, so here's a single. This one, I don't know why our boxes aren't the greatest, and so they've got a nice little back entrance over here, so that's why there's so many bees right here. Let's see what this one looks like. All right, not a ton of bees. I think I'm gonna do 30 on this one. There's a ton of bees there, you might want to give it a little smoke, and then you can place the card down so you don't smush them all. And that's pretty much it. So it's pretty easy, and I really do think it helps bees a lot. I haven't tested any hives yet, but I guess that would have been a good idea. So we might test some hives later on today, but for the most part, that's all we're doing today, and it's really easy. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section. And I think that's it. So thanks for watching today's video. Follow along more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.